Hey boo! Well, it is officially fall and Halloween is right around the corner. So I thought, why not do a sort of scary, not scary, but a lighthearted video about some of the dangers of Tulsa and Oklahoma. Predators, pests, and natural disasters that one may encounter living in Tulsa or in Oklahoma. So let's get into it. Every place, I guess, potentially has their wild animals or dangers, right? And it kind of depends on where you are. So if you're in New York City, maybe you're worried about those pizza snatching rats, right? Houston had those massive water bug. Look, I clenched my hands involuntarily. That was one of my hardest adjustments moving to Texas. And I know like Florida, some other states as well have those massive cucarachas. I know people call them water bugs. One of my homeboys there, he had sent me like a whole chart that explains like why those particular bugs are not exactly roaches after I was having a meltdown about finding one. And yeah, just mentally, I couldn't get past that. If it looks like a roach, walks like a roach, and talks like a roach, but yet it's like this big and beefy, and like looks like it's been working out. But that being said, Tulsa and Oklahoma has its own wildlife and sort of things to watch out for. Now, all of this stuff is not necessarily a threat. I will tell you personally, I have not encountered any of these things yet. But again, this is just, a fun little lighthearted video in honor of the upcoming spooky season. The first thing I heard about, or the first warning that I got as far as moving to Tulsa, was to be careful of coyotes. Now, I am a pet owner, and I had heard, be careful if you have like small dogs or cats, because there are coyotes here and they do sometimes snatch people's small animals, unfortunately. I have not personally seen a coyote here in Tulsa. I was speaking to a woman at an event, and she said she has not personally encountered coyotes either, but she has seen them on her Ring camera and they look pretty vicious. Now, my only experience with coyotes, of course, is this guy. I never really thought about coyotes before moving here, but they do kind of look like Wile E. Coyote. And I did find videos online of them looking particularly vicious. But I also saw videos online of people like keeping them as pets and things, but definitely something to keep your eye out for if you are moving to Tulsa. I almost moved into a first floor apartment and I did not know about the coyote situation. And my cat likes to like go out and be a little free, right? And hang out on the balcony and stuff like that. And so I would have been devastated if a coyote ate my baby. If a coyote had gotten my kitty cat, right? I don't think there's like a huge problem with coyotes here, right? After hearing about someone seeing, coyotes on their Ring camera here in the Tulsa metro area, I mentioned to a Tulsan, like a born and raised Tulsan, that I'd heard a little bit about coyotes and had, just asking about what their experience is. And they said, oh yeah, we definitely have coyotes here. And we also have hawks too. Like if you have a pet, you need to be mindful of hawks too. No, you're right. It's too late for that joke. It is entirely too late. I'm like 2 months too late. It would have been funny if I did this video in August. Anyway, the second hidden danger in Tulsa or Oklahoma, I've gotten a few comments at this point about hiking Turkey Mountain. And that is definitely something I'm looking forward to, but there was one particular comment. So I recommend for you to hike Turkey Mountain. It's beautiful. There's beautiful views and things like that. And someone commented almost immediately, yeah, but watch out for venomous snakes. Venomous snakes, oh my goodness. So yes, Oklahoma does have its share of venomous snakes. I'm gonna try to pop a few of them up here on the screen so you guys can see. Like when I lived in the mid-Atlantic states, right, there were foxes. And foxes, I think, were more, I never heard any stories or warnings about watching out for foxes like taking your cat or taking your dog, and or hawks flying away with your cat or dog. However, there would be a danger, right, with foxes if there was a rabid fox that bit your dog or something like that. Similarly with snakes, it would be very rare. Like I had some family that lives in more, dude. Also cats, house pets. Watch out for your kitty cats because they can be a menace too. What do you want, man? Oh, you want to go outside? Okay, just exactly what I was just talking about. All right, enjoy yourself, have fun. Okay. So, yeah. Crap. Where was I? Snakes. You know, I have family that lives in more rural areas in different places, right? Different parts of the country. And, you know, from time to time, you'll hear someone say, oh, they found a snake in their yard or something like that. And typically it turns out not to be a poisonous snake though. Actually, when it comes to think of it, we had a snake once in Delaware and, my boyfriend at the time killed it. I don't know. We were just terrified because I can't think of too many. So I could probably count on one hand, you know, the number of times I've seen a real snake. But a listing of the snakes that they have in Oklahoma, that we have here in Oklahoma: copperheads, cottonmouth, timber rattlesnakes, prairie rattlesnakes, western diamondback rattlesnakes, western pygmy rattlesnakes, Massasauga. I am sure I said that incorrectly. You guys forgive me. And also Texas coral snakes. There are 46 species. There are 46 species of snakes native to Oklahoma, and of those, 7 are venomous. So just something to be aware of. I mean, I think probably if you're in the city of Tulsa, it's probably unlikely that you will come across a venomous snake unless maybe you're hiking Turkey Mountain, right? Like someone did warn about that and to be careful of it. As I started researching it more, it looks like there is a season, according to OklahomaPoison.org's website. It looks like the season or snake season runs from April to October. Still want to hike Turkey Mountain. That is on my list. I am going to do it for sure. However, I think I'm going to do it with a guide for sure. Just to, you know, I don't want to be out there happy-go-lucky and stumble across one of these venomous snakes. So I mentioned the Texas water bug / roach / giant cucaracha situation. And man, your girl does not like insects. I do not like bugs, not too much. Spiders. Brown recluse spiders, to be exact. I'm sure, you know what, let's check and see. There's probably some more species of spiders too in Oklahoma. Like Oklahoma has that wildlife for you, man. Okay, spiders in Oklahoma, and this is not necessarily Tulsa, but they have widow spiders, brown recluse, wolf spiders, house spiders, jumping spiders, fishing spiders, orb weavers, orchard spiders. The Oklahoma, they have their own tarantula. Oklahoma brown tarantula. I feel like my voice is shaking just reading this list. Oh my goodness. Spotted orb weaver, black and yellow argiope, cellar spider, crab spiders, funnel weaver spider, southern black widow, sack spider, American grass spider. I mean, is it just that maybe I wasn't so aware of all of these? Let me just see in other places, right? Nope. See now, so the list for Oklahoma spiders, right? I just rattled that off. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Where I'm from, there's 6. They listed 6 different types of spiders. There's definitely no form of tarantula, and the majority of them are not poisonous or venomous spiders. But they do have brown recluse, and I never knew that. Never was bit by one. Black widows are considered the most venomous spider in North America, and they are prevalent. So, you know, there's spiders everywhere. I guess, man, Oklahoma just has like some gnarly looking spiders though. And I think just that having the tarantula part in the name is kind of creepy for those of us who don't like spiders. Now, if you are really into nature, maybe studying insects, studying snakes and things like that, and you know, into maybe you're into protecting habitats, and this could be a great place, right, to get into those things. Sidebar, but I noticed a few months ago, I noticed in like July, August, around the time I first moved to Tulsa, when it stormed, when it rained really bad, I would see these massive swarms of dragonflies. And I was thinking to myself, wow, I can't remember the last time I've, one, seen a dragonfly, and two, I don't think ever in my life I had seen that amount. Like, I mean, these like massive swarms of dragonflies outside my apartment. And I actually Googled it, and come to find out that, of course, heavy rains will trigger mosquitoes, mosquito eggs to hatch, right? And mosquitoes can go on a rampage. So by the dragonflies thriving in the way that they were, I guess was helping out, you know, to prevent mosquito bites. And there's different diseases and things that humans can get from mosquito bites. So it's pretty cool, you know. Even though this video is all about dangerous wildlife in Oklahoma, and some of these things are potentially found in Tulsa, everything in nature has its purpose, right? And even those snakes that I'm afraid of, and those spiders, they all have their place. And I've mentioned this a few times in a couple videos that I definitely feel closer to nature here, and I appreciate that some or a lot of nature is still intact here in Oklahoma and Tulsa. Everything just hasn't been, you know, torn down and destroyed and turned into concrete jungle. There's a fair share of nature here, and I think that is a beautiful thing. It's one of my favorite things about Oklahoma so far, and about Tulsa, more that and the people. As I was finding out about more dangers, the Oklahoma subreddit and the Tulsa subreddit are full of stories about people's different encounters with coyotes and the snakes and the other things. So it seems like there's definitely more of an abundance and more of a variety of like venomous snakes and venomous spiders and things than I'm used to. But I also think that maybe it's more noticeable because Oklahoma feels more natural, or at least the parts of Oklahoma that I've been exposed to so far, right? Still feels like nature is thriving, right? My Wawa cup. Shout out to Wawa. I miss Wawa. Miss Wawa, Miss Bucky's. I still haven't been, oh wait, I have been to a Quick Trip, but I was informed that I probably did not go to the right one. So I need to check out, like, I guess a good Quick Trip. And I'm also very interested in Come and Go. What a crazy name for a store. As far as like which one is better. But it feels like when I talk to Tulsans, I feel like everyone I've talked to so far favors Quick Trip over Come and Go. But we are so off topic right now. Let's get back to the dangers in Oklahoma. As I was exploring Oklahoma's subreddit and the Tulsa subreddit, there's so many stories out there of people just talking about their encounters, or family members and friends encounters with the wildlife, predators, pests, insects, and things here in Oklahoma. Is very fascinating. I will caution you, don't be like me. Do not fall down a Reddit rabbit hole. I've fallen down so many Reddit rabbit holes at this point. I've lost count with everything. So I would say just take this all in stride. This video is for information purposes and for fun, but I'm sure you could go years, you know, in Oklahoma without ever encountering a coyote or getting your puppy taken or anything like that. So the main thing though, I would say, man, Tulsans and Oklahomans are just so resilient, and they don't seem to be very much fazed by all of this. Their attitude is kind of like, okay, it'll be fine, you know. And I've even heard that a few times. I'm like, oh my God, you know, hawks, coyotes. If I get nervous about something, for example, tornadoes, that's definitely another danger of Tulsa and Oklahoma, right? And people are very calm about it, and they're like, oh, it's no big deal. Well, I have heard a theory a couple of times. I've heard a theory a couple of times as far as that Tulsa, the way where it is positioned, it's kind of shielded from tornadoes, or that maybe tornadoes come through, but they're not as devastating as they maybe would be in different areas based on the geography. Something about the river, the mountain, something, I don't know. I've mentioned this to a couple people in real life and they laughed. And, you know, Tulsans are very polite. Like one person was like, okay, believe that if you want to, you know what I mean? But then a couple other people are like, oh yeah, it's kind of true. Or they might say they've heard something like that before. It's more so like in the city of Tulsa, they don't see, or I guess they haven't seen for many years, significant tornado impact. But just a few months before I moved here, they did have some very significant tornado damage nearby towns and cities right outside of Tulsa. And, you know, the attitude of Tulsans, though, is they're just so resilient. To me, I'm so afraid of just the idea of a tornado, and they're very calm. Someone left a comment under one of my videos and I'm like, oh my God, there's so many steps, there's so many things, right? But she said, don't worry about tornadoes, you know, and if one comes, you know, there's like this whole set of instructions, right? If you're away from home and you're outdoors, do this, try to get to a shelter, there's so many steps. And then she's explaining, like, get into an interior room in your house. I can't remember all the things that she said, right? I'm like, I just had a vision of myself, you know, months from now, there's a tornado. I'm like going through my YouTube comments like, oh my God, where is it? Or trying to Google it really fast. But I'm sure there's also education that goes out around that when tornado season comes, as you know, what to do in those situations. And fingers crossed, I don't experience a tornado during this 1 year commitment in Tulsa. But I've heard this sentiment as far as like, that's God, you know, the tornado is a force of nature. It's God moving the winds. And so in that situation, they believe to take the certain precautions that you can take if possible and to pray. But like if it's not meant to hit you, it won't hit you, right? I said, okay, my risk tolerance, I have to get there, right? I have to have that level, like just to be comfortable and emboldened, right? That by the grace of God, a tornado will not hit me. Our list, number 5 would be bison. And I kind of added this one just for fun, but not really. Like bison can definitely be dangerous, right? So in my lifetime, I've not lived anywhere, well, there probably were historically bison in those areas. Let me take that back. But I just haven't lived anywhere where there currently are bison, right? And I would see all of these really majestic images online of bison kind of just hanging out and grazing was typically what I saw the most. And it was funny because my college mascot was a bison, but he was like this cute little cartoon bison. He had like a little steam, you know, coming from his nose and stuff. And I used to think it was funny back then because I'm like, wow, you know, we're going up against who? Like the Vikings, the Pirates, the Bears, I don't know, just like all of these ominous, menacing kind of mascots. And here we come with this cute little bison, you know, this cute little bison dancing around. Well, come to find out, in reality, bisons are definitely majestic, but they are huge, they are powerful, and they can be dangerous. Never made that connection with bison being a fearsome animal. And of course, you know, huge herds of bison used to roam the Midwest. And Tulsa and Oklahoma are part of the Midwest. There are still some bison here. So several states actually have managed herds, and there's conservancy efforts in place to help bring the bison back from the brink of extinction. Now, in terms of danger from bison, typically that happens when people are sort of going out of their way to experience danger. So only 1 to 2 people per year are actually injured by bison. There's no report of someone being killed by a bison in the last 5 years. However, there was a woman who was gored at Yellowstone because she got too close to a bison. When I was researching this video, it seems like most of the issues or problems with bison contacts really were happening like in Yellowstone or parks like that, where people see the bison, and again, that perception that I have, you see them calmly grazing, you don't know too much about them because maybe you're from a different part of the country or you just haven't experienced it, or you're thinking of that cute little bison mascot. And in reality, it is a massive, heavy animal with hooves and a hard head and, you know, and horns and everything else that you should not mess with. Very interested to see live bison up close though. I was really happy to see that there's so many efforts going on in so many different states, and that the bison are coming back. I saw that actually here in Oklahoma, it says here, the bison numbers have grown so large on government reserves that government officials have started to sell the excess animals at public auctions. And many people buy these animals to start their own herds. So bisons are back, baby. Do you say bisons or bison? Probably bison is plural for bison. Bisons. I should know that too. Moving to Oklahoma, I've talked about all kinds of different concerns that I had as far as how my life experience would change through my interactions with the human residents of the state, and also in relation to natural disasters that could possibly happen, like those tornadoes. And you know, every place has its pros and its cons, its wildlife and its dangers. And this was just my take on a sort of fun video to talk about some very real dangers or possible concerns that people could have moving to Tulsa in Oklahoma. By no means, definitely do not let this discourage you though from moving here. If you are moving here and you're moving into an apartment or a house and you have pets, just be mindful of, you know, potential dangers of letting your pets go out alone. So thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that anyone watching definitely take this all in stride. The comment section is always very helpful here. So I'm sure if people have more information or facts, more facts or guidance to share about coexisting with nature in Oklahoma, I'm sure that will be shared in the comments. Keep your eyes open, be aware, and let's coexist with nature. Peace.